Hey parents, Carmine here with your video review of the Bureau XCOM Declassified. The Bureau takes place in the early 1960s, when aliens decide to invade Earth in the hopes of enslaving humanity and colonizing the planet. The player is tasked with leading Agent William Carter on a campaign to push back the aliens and save humanity forever. While the campaign may start out looking like a run-of-the-mill third-person shooter, the story has some serious surprises in the second half. Aside from characters who are regularly seen smoking, part of the early 1960s environment in which the game is set, violence is the only major factor in this game. The player will eventually gain access to a large arsenal of weapons. While all weapon types will cause blood to appear from biological enemies, blood is less noticeable when the player uses laser or plasma weapons, since the visual effects hide a decent portion of the blood. This is further mitigated by the small number of mechanical enemies that do not bleed when shot. Bodies from dead enemies, both biological and mechanical, quickly disappear, and there is never any gore from grenades or other explosions. Plasma weapons have an extra burning effect on enemies, causing a small amount of damage after the initial hit. If an enemy is killed by a plasma weapon, their skin is burnt to a crisp. However, the distance between the player and the enemy, the fact that bodies disappear a few seconds after death, and the fact that plasma weapons become available late in the game kept me from even noticing this effect until the very last section. The only variation from the rest of the content comes when the player gets headshot kills on certain enemy types. Enemies with an obvious neck and head area will usually lose their head if killed with a headshot from a sniper rifle. This is pretty obvious when the player uses a human sniper rifle, but becomes much easier to miss later in the game when the player switches to laser and plasma weapons. If you can overlook the fact that this is an XCOM spin-off, it is a very well-designed game with a pretty awesome story. As a result of the violence, we gave this game a recommended age of 14 years old. For the full written review, including the extra categories, log on to SideStoryGames.com.